Constructing your life is about much more than just building a bank account. Each week, join real estate entrepreneur and mindset coach Austin Linney as he interviews guests who are constructing their dream lives and impacting the world around them on a daily basis. If you're an entrepreneur or wanting to start a business, or you just want to hear motivating stories of how others have overcome the odds, you are in the right place. And now for your host, Austin Linney.
Guys, welcome back to Construct Your Life. This is Austin Linney here. I have the honor of having Arvi in the house, and then we have Dave. We don't know what Dave does. He's just the arm candy, but we have Dave in the house too. So, guys, this is great because I've talked to Dave a little bit. I follow your social media. I know a little bit about what you do, but not really. So, what I like to do with my guests is kind of let them tell the story, and I'll let y'all start where you want to, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you for having us here. I'm Arvi. I started investing about 2 years ago in real estate, right out of college, actually. I was in Buffalo, New York at the time and was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life and was applying to a lot of different corporate jobs, and I didn't get one single call back. And while being on a phone with my dad and, kind of complaining to him that I'm not getting anything, he pitched me the idea of getting involved in real estate. He didn't know much about it. He just said, just look into it, see if there's anything you can do. And since I started looking back then, I just never stopped.
Yeah, and it took me about a year later, maybe 6 months, I think 6 months to get into it, because right out of college, I went to coach for a year. And I kind of saw the potential, what she was doing, and she needed some help when it comes to the construction side and managing the flips and the rehabs. So that's when I came into the picture. It was all in Buffalo, New York. And then last year, we moved to Nashville, Tennessee. And we started really focusing a lot, getting serious. And now we are basically getting all of our deals off market.
I love that. And so I got a rule for you, because I coach a dude who used to be an NCAA coach, now in health insurance, and Chris Grinzik out of Toro in New York is my good buddy. He's bought tons of real estate, but he was a coach and he was making $5,000 a year. All right, so here's the new rule. If you want to be a coach, you got to go buy real estate first, and then when you retire, then you can be the coach.
Right. That's what we talked with Dave before. Like, I was like, you can always do this on the side or just for a hobby, But that's a good rule.
So when your dad said, "Why don't you get into real estate?" What was the next step from there? Was it a book? Was it a YouTube? What got you started?
Actually, it was kind of like a right moment, right time type of thing. Once I talked to him, I believe within a couple of days, I was driving and I heard this radio ad about a free real estate investing class that was going to be in person in Buffalo. So I just signed up for the class. And then, of course, with the free class, they upsell you to like a 3-day seminar type thing.
Yeah, she bought it.
And I bought it. It was around like $300, which for us was a big deal at the time.
And then she came home. She was like, yeah, the seminar was really good, but I bought a few things. Okay. Probably bought a book or something. Yeah. I understand that. She's like, no, it's like $300 or $400. In college, that's
so he was definitely pissed at me at the time. But it turned out for the better.
Yeah. I love that. And so what did they teach you at the seminar?
So honestly, that was like the problem. They didn't really teach us like a lot in terms of real estate, like how to get started and things like that. Because from there, they upsell you to like this $30,000 coaching program. But what they really talked about was the mindset and, the opportunities of real estate and how you can make money. Like they talked about wholesaling, flipping, which to me, they were like new things because I had never heard of them. So after that seminar, I was just left with like a million questions in my head. But super excited to get into it. So I just started reading any books I could, looking at a lot of YouTube videos at the time and just trying to learn and absorb as much information as I could. And then from there, 8 months later, after me doing all this research and trying to learn, I bought my first property to flip it, which was quite a big project. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into.
Where'd you get the money for that, to purchase that project?
So that was a hard money lender that lended me the money for it. And then my dad kind of funded the down payment part of the flip. But yeah, I borrowed all the money from there though.
And it was super easy, right? I mean, you made 150K and you didn't do any work. It was so easy.
Yeah,
right?
Then I retired.
Then you retired? Okay, I did the interview over. No.
Yeah.
So how did it go?
Honestly, anything that could go wrong went wrong with that flip. I discovered, I mean, I knew it had some type of foundation problems, but I didn't know the extent of it. And I ended up replacing two of the biggest foundation walls of the house, which was like 35 feet long and 8 feet high. So, I mean, it turned out from like a 2-month project to 9 months to get all that stuff done. Way over budget of what I originally thought, and when I sold, it was like the best thing that ever happened.
Did you make money or no?
No, absolutely not. Yeah, we broke even on that one, which at that point I was like, that's all I needed.
I wasn't in the picture yet. Just want to clarify that I was not managing the construction side at that point.
Yeah.
And so I said something on a post the other day, and my buddy was like, holy crap, that's a great idea. So he said, what are the top 5 things that a new investor needs to know? And I said, what you need to understand is that your first 2 to 5 properties is nothing more than practice.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you look at it from that context, it's all good. And so like I look at that Phil, and like my philosophy is you're not the first one I've heard.
Yeah.
These young kids I was helping do a wholesale, I can't even tell you what bad things happened to them, but they got it done. They made 12 grand. And he goes, dude, thank God that was my first one, because now these other ones are going to be a breeze.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. I think I completely agree with what you said. I think what's important about it to mention, though, is like to make sure that it's not, kind of putting you too deep in the hole to where you can't really get out of. Mm-hmm. But absolutely agree with what you said.
So what was the next one?
So from there, I bought a second property, and that's where Dave came into the picture. It was a flip again.
Was Dave part of the contract? Did you say, here's the house, and then I get a tall, dark, handsome man? Is that because that's a damn good deal? I'll take that.
Right.
Deal. Yeah.
No, so Dave didn't really have much choice at this point. I kind of fully dragged him along.
The way this works, used to work now. She used to buy the house and then tell me.
Yeah.
She used to get on the contract and then tell me, like, this is the house. These are the issues. Yeah. Can you help me fix it?
And then he'd be like, but you didn't even think this through, like, what about this? What about that? I'm like, that's the problem you have to deal with.
So until this day, she gives me the budget. Like, hey, Dave, I think this flip is going to be like 20,000. Like, nope, you can up that. Right? I already know. So we do that all the time still.
Yeah.
And so do you have construction experience or?
I had a little bit. I just was handyman. My dad was always fixing stuff around the house, but never intensive, like taking down walls and doing drywall, all that stuff. I never really done that. Basically just learned it by doing it, making mistakes, paying a little bit extra to my contractors to fix my mistakes and do it right. Yeah. But end of the day, as you said, with practice, now I know exactly what it's supposed to look like. Now I know exactly how long it should take for a drywall guy to be done. So all those little things, you can't put a price tag on it.
And so in the second property, how did that one go?
Way better.
Yeah, that one way better. I mean, obviously it wasn't like a huge profit. I think we made about 10 to 15 on that one. Mm-hmm. And then kind of helped us get the third one, which we ended up house hacking. And it was a single family. We bought it with the intention to flip it. And we discovered that like the zoning allowed for it being a duplex. And at the time I had just learned about what house hacking is and, how it can help you. And we were in the position where I was like, Dave, I think this is going to be great for us to house hack. And we just, did that as a third property that year.
Mm-hmm. And then where did the company go from that aspect after you lived in that third one?
Yeah. So from there, then I actually ended up visiting Nashville, for my brother's birthday. It was like a random visit.
It was not random. It was not.
You like to say it's not. I mean, we'd never been to Nashville before or anything, so it was just like a city we picked to visit. But I really here there was so much opportunity when I visited. There was construction going on in every single corner. And, I called him up when I was here and I said, Dave, we got to move here. Like, I don't know anything about it, but just from what I'm seeing, I mean, this is awesome. So, of course, he said no. And then we moved.
Yeah, she did it. She bought a house and then told me like, "Hey, I already bought a house like in Nashville. Like we're moving." So she, yeah.
So here's the deal, Dave. I don't even know if we're friends anymore because me and her are friends because this is amazing. I don't even understand what's going on here. She's just like, here's how I'm going to get him to move. We're going to buy a house and then he's not going to have an option. Yeah. This is great. This is amazing. I love this thing. This is so awesome. Yeah. So are you telling me, hold on, I got to unpack this. Are you telling me that you came down there, saw it, and then bought a house? How did you buy the house?
No, so I didn't buy the house when I was here. At the time, I was still trying to convince him to move. And, we had a lot of family and friends up in Buffalo. And he was like, oh, how are we going to leave all this behind? And I was just thinking of like the end goal, like the vision of how much we could do. And I started looking for houses when I was there. I connected with an agent down here and I started making offers. Honestly, that's about it. And I found one that I liked. I put under contract. And I mean, obviously we were still under the inspection period, but I was like, Dave, this is what's going on. So, yeah.
But I came to that. We made a visit. I told her the only reason how I'm moving is I have to go visit. I have to go see what it actually is about.
But at the time where we visited, we were coming here to actually close on the property and do the signing. So, it wasn't like he could change.
So I'm gonna let you in on a. Are y'all married or not? Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you in on a secret, Dave. From a divorced 13-year marriage in a new relationship. As men, if we just shut up and just do what the woman says, they're like 90% right, like all the time. So just follow her lead, and you're gonna be wealthy, healthy, and happy as shit.
You're my best friend now. Should listen to him.
I agree to some extent. Let me.
No, it's a summit. Well, no, you have to fight back a little bit. All right, I'm separate. You have to fight back. But I love this, and so look, I'm only gonna. I used to live in Nashville. I don't know if y'all know that, but I lived in Austin for 9 years. But I want to tell you something, and this is something that's not talked about. And obviously, where you are in your life is totally up to you. I can't control that.
Right.
There is something to be said because I live in Austin right now, and we're about to start it. I can't say that. So there is something to be said to be around that energy, that drive when a city's taken off, and you're around these other investors, and you meet these people that are doing bigger deals than you. I can't tell you what I call it is called riding the wave. Mm-hmm. Like when you get on the wave and everybody's riding the wave together and the city's blowing up, and you can't put a price tag on that level of energy, what it does to you internally inside of you that allows you to push farther as an investor to see things bigger than you thought you could see. And, I would just be interested to see, since you moved there, like how's that changed everything?
Well, Dave, do you want to?
Drastically.
Yeah.
I mean, we came to visit to sign for the house, and I saw it. I saw the city for. I think we drove around for 10 minutes. Right after the airport, and I was already sold. Just based on my observations when it comes to the airport, they were expanding the airport. They were expanding highways. There were just suburbs. There were new subdivisions like everywhere. So that kind of told me like, okay, she's right.
And I love what you said, because I think that's exactly what I felt. I just didn't have like words to put into, the way you did it. But that's exactly what happened. I think I just like felt the energy of everybody like moving up, and that's what.
In a sense, and this is something you can you could steal it and take it for yourself.
Yeah.
I look at it in a different context. It's almost an honor to live a life riding the wave. And that's the way I look at it. And so when I was in Arizona briefly and we were traveling around the United States, I asked my girlfriend, I said, what do you want to do? Like, where do you want to live? What do you want to do? And I started thinking to myself, like, Elon Musk is moving to Austin. Joe Rogan just moved there. I know everybody. I hate Austin. Let me preface that. I do not want to live in downtown Austin. Yeah. I do not hate Austin. I love Austin. It's fun. But it's a lot. There's a lot going on. It's almost too much. I don't want to pay those prices, but I get it, know. But ultimately, what's interesting is that you can ride the wave for a 10 to 15 year period and set yourself up for the rest of your life. And then, for me, the goal for us is probably in 2 to 3 years to move to Italy and go back and forth, or South America, or move to Colombia, and just come back and forth and enjoy it, and so on and so on. And so by riding the wave and being a part of the madness, like what cracks me up about Nashville is that I used to live in Donaldson, and before Donaldson is happening, and everybody goes, oh, hell no, it'll never go over there, ever. But here's what I did know. These were acre plus lots, huge dog parks, right near the airport, quiet. And I said, this neighborhood right here is going to be everything. Yeah. And then sure enough, funny story, I didn't find out till later. I didn't live there at the time. Grant Cardone's company bought the apartments in a huge package that I was living in.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, well, if Grant Cardone's buying apartments in Nashville, it's about to get weird, right? And so you can kind of see those little indicators, and so when you moved to Nashville and you bought that property, what have y'all been doing since in the market?
So from there, the property that we bought, it was a single family that we house hacked as well. We kind of turned the master bedroom into an Airbnb, and we're just renting that out there to help with the cost at the time. And from there, honestly, we just got serious about doing our own marketing and being consistent and focused on getting deals. And ever since then, we did great. I mean, 2020 was an awesome year for us, the best year we've had in terms of real estate. And we went from, I would say, zero to like $500,000 in wholesale fees and flips in a year.
No big deal.
No big deal.
Just 0 to 500,
And honestly, my goal when I started in last January, I told him, I said, I just want to get to 100,000. Like that number seemed so far away and unachievable at the time. So when we hit it, we were like, what's going on? Like, this is crazy.
What's the goal for this year?
$1 million in terms of gross revenue. I
don't like it. It's too generic. All right. Yeah. Wait for it. Yep, got it. Okay, I got it. 1.2885, 113,000.
All right, I like that. I'm gonna write it down.
1.285, 113,000.
1.285, 113. Okay.
So what I want to pull apart, because people will get mad if I didn't, is how the hell do you go from 0 to 500,000? So what are the tactics? What are you doing? What avenues are you investing?
Yeah. So our first goal was to just start wholesaling to build some capital. And that's what we did. We started doing direct mail in January, about 2,000 to 2,500 letters, I believe. And that's when we, got our first deal. And, we wholesaled that one for just like the regular $10,000 profit. And then we got a second deal and we did the same thing. And then we got, a third deal and we flipped that one, which obviously the profit was higher. And then we just kept upping our marketing in terms of direct mail. And then we added on to like Google ads and like Facebook ads to kind of get more exposure as well. So that's when things kind of started blowing up. In terms of like deal numbers, it wasn't too many. We ended up with 15 that year or this year. But our fees were actually really high on what we wholesaled and what we flipped and wholetailed. And this year, our goal is to try to get more in terms of deals. But I mean, obviously, if the fee is high, I'm not going to complain about it.
100%. And I know that y'all just closed like one of your biggest deals ever.
Right.
And if I'm not mistaken, you weren't in Nashville when that happened, right? Did I follow that line?
Yeah, Dave. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So let me get this straight, because I'm pretty aggressive. They call me like mini David Goggins sometimes. When y'all listen to this fucking story and you tell me you have an excuse, I'm gonna replay this for you one more time. I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna keep sending it to you.
Yeah.
So walk me through this story, how you made 130 grand.
So this deal was actually a Google Ads lead that came in.
How much money did you spend on the Google Ads?
That's a good question. So our monthly, I'll tell you like our monthly average, because I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
Big deal, but it's around 4,000 a month.
Okay.
For Google Ads. So it came through Google Ads. This was in a market that we didn't even know the city at the time. I mean, yeah, never even heard of.
Where's it at?
Scott Hills.
Scottsdale?
No, Scotts Hills, in between Nashville and Memphis, like this little tiny town.
No.
Exactly. So that was my first reaction. I'm like, what the hell? I don't even know. So it was this 40-acre farmhouse with 4,000 square feet in terms of the actual farmhouse. And there was no comps whatsoever because it was the only one in the area. And we talked to the lady. She was very, very desperate and motivated to close and sell as soon as possible. She wanted to close actually in 4 days from when we first had the talk with her. Mm-hmm. So it was like everything was happening really fast, in terms of a couple of days that we had to get everything started.
We almost kind of dropped it completely because we had no idea what we're doing in that area. We didn't know the market.
Yeah.
So from that point on, I think we went to the appointment.
No, we didn't go to the appointment. The inspector. The inspector. We did. Right. We got a full house inspection on that one because.
How much did that cost you? I'm trying to prove a point. Yeah. How much did that cost you?
The inspection was like $320.
Oh my God, it's terrible. Yeah. Oh, $300. Okay.
Right. So we were like, either it's gonna make us money or it's gonna save us from losing money. That $300. So. The report came back terrible. At the time, we were under contract with the lady at $180,000. The report came back terrible, and I talked to Dave, and we're like, you know what? We're just probably gonna let this one go. And I called the lady to tell her, I'm sorry, the report came back really bad. It has foundation issues and this and that. And she was like, I just really want to close. Like, I'll let it go for you guys at $100,000. So she just.
She dropped it like $80K just in one phone call.
Yeah, so she dropped and I was like, let me get back to you real quick. And I told him, like, Dave, she just dropped the price. Like, at this point, I think even if the house is trash, just the land.
Just the land, 40 acres of land is worth 100.
So obviously, we called her back and said yes and headed to closing. Within like 4 days from there, we closed. Yeah. She got what she needed.
She was happy. That's the good thing about this story, that she was very happy because we helped her out and she was able to do whatever she needed to do with that money.
And let me just point out, she had bought it, I believe, 8 years ago for $180,000. So we got it for even lower than what she originally got it for. So at that point, we were like, all right, this is going to be a deal, for sure.
Yeah. All right.
We didn't know how much from.
What happened? What happened from there?
Yeah, so I found an agent. We listed it on the market on the MLS as is, with no repairs whatsoever. So we got the first 2 days on the market. We got 4 offers right away. We listed at $285, and we accepted an offer for $265. They understood that they were buying it as is. They still ran an inspection on their own. They just asked us to fix like a couple HVAC issues, and we were like, sure, we'll do that. It cost us around $3,000. And then we closed, like 3 weeks later. So we netted around $135,000 on
after paying off everybody, like our acquisition manager and the agent, everything.
Yeah. So we were all in for the deal at around $3,500. And then from there.
All right, so $300 for the $3,500 for Jan. So $7,500. Let's just say, call it that, to make $130,000.
Yeah.
You know what? I dropped out of college 3 times, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that's a damn good fucking return on investment.
Absolutely. And honestly, even for us, it was like pretty unbelievable because this is something that doesn't happen often, and it's always something that it happens to other people, not us. So when it happened to us, we were like still kind of in disbelief.
Yeah. I still am a little bit.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, the reason why, 2 things. The reason why, and I noticed this yesterday the reason why is because the vision and the goals for y'all are very big and it's very clear. And so, yes, you're very excited. It's awesome. But unlike other people who would go out and go to Vegas for 3 weeks, you're like, okay, that's great. Put it in the bank. We got more work to do. And that's what I love is like the initial, I would venture to guess that yes, we want the money to freedom and Airbnbs and travel. but it's not really the end game. So the emotion is not tied to it. So you're not going to like go party for 30 days. It doesn't matter. Like we're just back to work the next day.
Yeah, we're actually using that money to expand our business.
Sure.
One of our main goals is basically from the start to make from a hobby to a money-making business. And so this year we're going to expand, get an office, hire 2 more acquisition managers, up our marketing. So
we're going to spend some money now, which is a little bit scary.
So I would be, here's my only caveat. Okay. Cause I spent many a times and most of my friends are the biggest wholesalers in the country. Make sure all I ask is that your gross to net profit is very large and don't just throw money at marketing expand, because there's a lot of guys that I know that run. I have a buddy out of Arizona. Happy to introduce you. You totally need to get a call with him. Yeah. He does $850K a year wholesaling as a side hustle with $0 for marketing. He does a $40 million brokerage with 10 agents, no office. Wow. And he flips 12 houses at a time.
Wow. That's amazing.
No office, no nothing, does it out of his house. And so I get it.
Yeah.
And I'm supporting it, but I think there's something there and to keep the cost low, because then if you want to turn it off and disappear to Colombia for a month, because once you get the office and once you get the people, then you're beholden to them as owners of a business.
Yeah. No, makes sense for sure. We'd love the introduction.
For sure. Of course. Well, that's just getting started. But ultimately, like what's interesting, right, is something that you said in that is 2 things happened to me in that transaction. Is one, you didn't need the deal. So she understood that about you and kind of gave you what you wanted kind of. Second thing is I don't think enough people, when they walk into a deal, they're so excited about the deal, they don't ask the right questions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when I don't know if I could share it. It doesn't matter. I'm on a call yesterday and I'm talking about this piece of land and the lady's like a high powered agent. She's like, I'm like, yeah, we're putting this on it and everything. And she's like, awesome. Well, I mean, are you looking for more land? And I'm like, what? And she's like, well, my parents got 17 acres. They want to sell. It's off market. It's in the hottest growing area in Texas in the hill country. And she's like, you think you got a buyer? I'm like, yeah, I got a buyer. And then I started asking the questions like, why do they want to sell? What is this about? Like, are you involved in it? And like, I don't think people, so now we have motive. We know why.
Yeah.
We have a number. We don't have a number, but we have a number kind of. And so because of my networking, what I did is I called my friend who runs $1 billion development company. And he's like, I'll look at it. And whether or not he buys it, he's going to tell me exactly what somebody's going to pay for it. Yeah. And then I can go back to them and go, I told the agent straight up, now this woman is a savage.
Yeah.
It's her parents' property. And she goes, they're not going to give me shit, so I'm taking a commission on it. And I said, listen, there's 2 ways we can handle this. We can handle this straight up, or you can get a price from your parents. Their parents are still making, they bought it for like 100. They're going to make 1.6 million. So like, let's, they're going to be good. But what I said is, or you can get a real price from your parents, and then we'll know what we're working with. And then we can go out and wholesale this for 200 grand. And split 100 grand each, and we don't have to worry about an agent fee and all that stuff. And she goes, that's pretty interesting. And so because I'm available and those options are out there, there's a bunch of different ways. Now, granted, I am more than comfortable closing that in a regular sense. Right. Like money's money, but I don't think enough people explore options because they only view one option, right? Yeah. And not that she would have, but I think that lady would have closed for less personally. Like she just wanted to get out. She needed the money. And by doing that, people ask the right questions. And so for y'all's business and just your life in general, what are the goals for the next couple of years? What makes you happy? I see that y'all like to travel a lot, obviously. And so that's kind of a thing, right?
Yeah. So honestly, like Dave said, we're trying to focus on expanding the business, and the ultimate goal is to move ourselves from the business, just put everybody in the right place where it needs to be, to the point where we don't have to be there every day. I don't know how we feel, like we actually haven't talked about it, but like retirement, I haven't thought about it because I like being involved in real estate. I like doing it. So as long as I'm not, doing it every single day, like for 8 hours, I still want to be able to work in the business and be involved in this and that. I like the excitement of, deals and things like that.
I have a plan for y'all, but I don't want to share it on recording. So I'll tell you too when we get off camera, because I think it's a great idea. And it's something I've noticed by interviewing a lot of the people that y'all hang out with. And I think there's a vein of business that could be highly, highly profitable. So, but
opportunities.
But what's great, guys, is and your story is so amazing. Is you're like, fuck it, I'm just gonna buy stuff and figure it out. And so, is a large portion of your business generated towards the flipping, or the wholesaling covers most of the stuff from now on?
Honestly, it's a good mix. Like we have our criteria in terms of flips, and if it doesn't fit that criteria, then we'll just wholesale it. And that criteria is very simple. We like to do quick turnaround flips. So if it needs more than like a month of work, we're just going to try and wholesale it first. Yeah. Worst case scenario, we're still going to keep it. Like if for some reason we don't find a buyer, because we always make sure to run the numbers the way that if we were not going to flip it, somebody else would want to. But it depends on the criteria, honestly. It just depends on that.
Most of the time, we always have one flip going on, one or two flips going on at the same time. And if we get a lot of leads coming in, we just wholesale most of them, or hotel most of them.
And for anybody that's sitting on the fence, or anybody that is thinking about getting in the game, what's your advice to anybody listening to this?
Honestly, it just starts small, be focused, get that first deal out of the way, because that's like the hardest part of, being involved in real estate. And then from there, you just got to be consistent and focused.
I would say even before that, just get out there and start making offers. Honestly, the biggest thing that people don't really understand is when you're trying to get into real estate, you have to understand the game, and you have to actually start making offers on properties to see if you can get it. You can't sit at home and analyze deals. You have to actually go out there. I know a lot of people that want to get into real estate, but they haven't even talked to a real estate agent yet. And maybe put a couple of offers in. So I would say just take that step to put an offer in, even if it goes a low ball offer. Go and get rid of that first offer feeling, basically.
And don't hang around us, because we're gonna make you buy property. But because I gotta tell you this story, y'all are gonna love this. So my boy Ruben, who runs a marketing agency and just bought his first Airbnb, he's an agent investor. He starts a clubhouse room like 3 days ago. And I was just like, saw him in there, and I was like, I'll pop in. Like I was like working out or something. We get to talking about life. I was just asking him about like, hey, what are you doing? My boy saw me from LA. So my boy is an off-market specialist who does $60 to $160 million off-market apartment deals. His first deal as a licensed agent was $60 million. Wow. And so he was on the beach in California. So he pops on, we get to talk about life. Well, this kid rolls in there. Didn't even know what he was like. He just rolls in there, 26 years old, engineer out of Texas. Yeah. 2.5 years he's been analyzing real estate deals. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So for an hour and a half, he's got me, my boy who's doing $100 million deals, and Ruben giving him advice.
Yeah.
And I like lit it at the end. I was like, I got all charged up, and I was like, fucking buy real estate. I was like, stop being I was like, you make 80 grand a year. You got an 800 credit score. I'm like, let's fucking go. I was fucking going crazy, right? It's like my 30th call of the day.
Yeah.
So funny enough, from Clubhouse the day before, he met my buddy Andreas, right, who works for Diego down here.
Yeah.
And so, long story short, I get a fucking DM last night. This son of a bitch put an offer in on a house last night. Wait for it. He said, the lender said, my credit's so good, my goal in a month is to buy a second house.
Wow, amazing.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, he clicking on that button.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know, man. You just got to keep pushing forward.
People just need like a boost of confidence. Maybe they're not surrounded by the right people around them. Like we weren't in the beginning, everybody around us did not do real estate. Mm-hmm. And, when you're surrounded by people like that, your goals are probably not going to be higher, So the moment we came to Nashville and we just started surrounding ourselves with only real estate people, that moment we're like, wow, we would see people getting deals and it was like a good jealousy going on. Like, I need to do that. Like, I need to do more. I'm not doing enough. Mm-hmm. So when you're surrounded by the right people, for sure.
And I haven't told you all this, I don't know why. I'll just tell you on camera. So May 14th and 15th, I'm bringing Construct Your Life Mastermind event. We're having a huge event with Tyler Coble and Evan Holiday's speaking, and now y'all are speaking. So if y'all are in town, I would love for y'all to share your wisdom, and y'all can be the wholesaling conversation.
Appreciate the offer.
If you're interested, because there'll be a lot of dudes talking about whatever they're talking about. Who cares? Development stuff. So we need to talk about how we make some money. So, but guys, if people wanted to find out more about you, how would they do that?
You can always find us on Instagram. I'm Arvi, ARVI CARKANJI.
And I'm on Instagram as well, Dave.Arlaud, ARLAUD. You can always find us on moneymakingduo.com. That's our website.
I love it. Guys, if you like this episode, make sure you send it out to your friends.
Thank you for listening to Construct Your Life with Austin Linney. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and pay it forward by sharing with a friend. Most importantly, take this opportunity to start constructing your life by taking immediate action on what you learned. For show notes, resources, and more information on one-on-one coaching with Austin, visit constructyourlifepodcast.com.